So we're at the Better Boards Conference. Tell us a little bit about your presentation today.
So Elise and I presented on the power of purpose and when purpose is aligned across the board. So at an individual board member level, where individual board members understand their purpose, then understand the purpose of each of their fellow board members, and then the overarching organisational purpose and the power that you can leverage when all of those are aligned across the board.
When looking to recruit, someone out of the corporate space onto my board, what questions should I be asking, or what should I be looking for?
Well, the most important thing to do when looking at any board member, no matter what sector they come from, is to interrogate the what, the how, and the why. So starting at the why, being purpose-led, understanding what their motivations are, why your board, why now, and why the group of people that they want to interact with and help support the board's mission. And then move to the how and the what skills and what network or funding or access to funding do you bring, and expertise. I think often non-profit boards start with the what and just stay in the what, and I think that we could really improve our basis for understanding and the relationships in the boardroom if we understood the why.
We see a lot in the boardroom, I think there's a lot of assumed purpose. How should I start the conversation about purpose?
Assumptions around the board table can be quite dangerous around purpose. I think a lot of board members think because they share a board table that they share a purpose. And I actually think that what they do share is a cause, and it doesn't necessarily follow that they share a purpose, and it implies to me that there needs to be a conversation, a two-way conversation to understand purpose in order to get the best out of your board.
A lot of not-for-profits deal with funding bodies, they've got a lot of, they deal with donors, they deal with heaps of stakeholders. How critical is that shared understanding of purpose to communicating with those people?
You can't lead others unless you lead yourself, and lead yourself well and effectively. And I think that if the organisation is clear on its purpose and its messaging, then they're then able to communicate and articulate that to all these external stakeholders. And I think the issue arises when there's not a clear and unanimous understanding across the board, where mixed messages are sent. And then unfortunately we find ourselves in the position where we run the risk of diluting our brand and our effectiveness, and also our ability to influence dialogue in our space. I think we're in a stage of evolution where I think social problems are more complex than they've ever been before. And I think what that means for the sector is that our solutions need to be as we need to draw on experience from a wide variety of stakeholders and skill sets. And I think diversity at the board level across many different elements is key and vital to non-profit organisations being successful in their ability to navigate those muddy waters.
There's a lot of talk in the not-for-profit space about what the future of not-for-profits might be. A lot of talk around social enterprise. Have you got any thoughts on the shape of the future of NFPs?
I absolutely do. I've listened to today and yesterday to a lot of people talking about social enterprise, and I have a background in social enterprise and social finance, and I worry about the fact that people seem to be putting their eggs all in one basket. I think that there's no silver bullet and there's no panacea, there's no one solution fits all. Whilst I think it is it's something that really needs to be considered and will fit with a lot of non-profits and their models. I also think that people need to be realistic about what works in their environment and their communities. Social enterprise and this commercialisation of non-profits, I think it is critical and is very appropriate for certain organisations. And what I think the point that a lot of people haven't been making to support that is the focus around staff and how you get the right people on the team and on the bus to help drive those commercial outcomes. So that's at the executive management level and at the non-executive board director level.